All right, guys, welcome back. Today we'll be talking about ventilation-perfusion ratios, and we'll get into some specifics of VQ mismatching, such as shunts and dead space. So let's get right into it here. I want to start this little picture I drew. All we have here is I drew an alveoli here, and then I have a blood vessel. So basically, the whole point of this ventilation perfusion is you need adequate ventilation and you need adequate perfusion. You need a balance, right? So you have to have air coming in here in order to ventilate the alveoli, right? And then you also need to have adequate blood flow here to get to the capillaries, and that way you can have gas exchange occur across this interstitium space, which is this little gap right here between the alveoli and your capillaries. So, with gas exchange, you'll get O2 diffusing from the alveoli into the blood vessel, and then CO2 going from the blood vessel back into the alveoli, and that'll get exhaled out as you breathe. But hopefully this little picture can kind of help you throughout the video, just be able to visualize some of this stuff. So first, let's just start with what's normal here. So remember, it's VQ. This equals ventilation over perfusion. So a normal VQ, so in an ideal world, you want these to be just about equal, but a normal one is going to be 0.8, and if we put that in fraction form, which is how I always go about like answering test questions and stuff, just write it out. 0.8 is equal to 4 over 5, and we'll show you down here in the video how that'll be helpful in a second. Okay, so for understanding this, and specifically, when you get to your exams, basically you're either going to have either an elevated VQ ratio or decrease. It's either too high or too low, and we'll talk about both those here. So let's start with a elevated VQ. So this is one form of the mismatch that you have a chance at seeing on your exams and stuff. So with elevated VQ, so if we know that it's ventilation over perfusion, then in order for this to go up, our number on the bottom, just simple math, the number on the bottom's got to go down, right? So that means our perfusion is going to decrease. So if we keep this is why I said always write it out. So we said normal is 4 over 5. So let's go now, we'll do 4, and let's say it decreases, we'll just drop it all the way down to 1. Right, so now you have a elevated VQ ratio because your VQ ratio is now 4. So what happened here, we had a decrease in our bottom number of the fraction, which is perfusion. So if you think about what can cause basically a decrease in blood flow, right? Normally, specifically on your exams, this is going to be, let me write this in different colors so it doesn't look like we're changing topics. This is going to be from pulmonary embolism. So like I said, pretty self-explanatory here. You have a decrease in perfusion. So what can that be from? It's just a blood clot. So you get this clot in the blood vessel, and then, even though these alveoli are still getting ventilated, your ventilation's fine, which is why we keep this number here the same. We keep it at 4. It's your perfusion that takes a big hit. So your perfusion decreases. So that's why you drop it from 5 all the way to 1, and then that'll get your VQ mismatch, your total number of 4 there. So with the pulmonary embolism, this is also considered, they'll call this dead space. So this is dead space versus shunt, right? So elevated VQ is going to be dead space. Think pulmonary embolism. You have a block in blood flow, which is why your perfusion is so low. How I remember this, we'll talk about with shunt too, but with dead space, I just can remember, if I have no blood, I'm dead. That's just how I remember it. Quick little short memory trick in my head that'll kind of help me differentiate. Because we get into shunt, I always say, you can't shunt, you have to have fluid to shunt, right? So you still have to have blood flow. But here at the dead space, I have no blood flow, I'm dead. That's how I tend to remember that one. So that's how you can have elevated VQ. Now, let's move down and let's box this in so it's not, so that's all together. And now let's talk about decreased VQ. Okay, so once again we said, remember our normal value, normal VQ, ventilation of 4, perfusion of 5, 0.8. So now we'll get a value lower than that. Okay, so what will happen here with the decrease ratio is you're going to get a decrease in your ventilation. So it's normally 4, so let's just make it really easy on ourselves. Let's drop it all the way down to 1. Perfusion will stay the same. That's 5. 1 over 5 equals 0.2. Okay, so now what's happening is, we'll erase this, because now in this scenario, we have adequate blood flow. Blood is still getting here, to the alveoli. It's ready to perfuse it, but now we're not getting adequate airflow, right? So we're getting maybe very minimal airflow into the alveoli. So it's decreasing our ventilation, which is why you see the decreased ratio. So on your exam, or this one, a lot of times, like with dead space and elevated VQ, it's pulmonary embolism. It's always some kind of clot. This one could be several different, lung disorders. I think a frequent one that we typically talk about is, pneumonia. Pneumonia could be a test question there that you could see a decreased ventilation perfusion ratio. And this one's also called shunt. So remember, shunt is with decreased, and then dead space is with elevated. Like I said, how I remember this is you have to have some kind of fluid, something to shunt, right? So that's how you still have blood. That's how I remember that I'm low on ventilation versus dead space. If I have no blood, I'm dead. So I have no blood perfusion. Okay, so with the shunts, like what can happen, why you get this shunt is with pneumonia. So you have issues, getting the ventilation, and then you're unable to have this adequate gas exchange here across the interstitial, whether that's due to, congestion, edema, whatever it may be. You can't have adequate gas exchange. So what happens is, why the blood shunts is it recognizes, your body tries to compensate that, okay, these alveoli are damaged or unable to, adequately have this gas exchange. So your pulmonary arteries, they'll vasoconstrict and they'll shunt to different alveoli that aren't as affected and are still having, adequate ventilation. So that can be a, compensation mechanism that can help for a little bit, but obviously, that can become an issue if you have, widespread or diffuse lung disease, where then it's, okay, where is it shunting to, right? Because then if everything is damaged, then you run into a bunch of big time issues then at that point. But this is just the very basics here, VQ mismatching. Like I said, if you like the video, please subscribe. Let me know if there's any other topics or you want to see in the future. I'm happy to make more videos. Like I said, just a quick recap, just remember, ideally this is equal. 0.8 is our normal ratio. If you have an elevated VQ, it's likely because of some kind of clot, because your ventilation is still fine, so you're still getting air there, or it's your perfusion that's the issue. So be a big number over small number. That's why your fraction will go up, right? And that's considered dead space. Whereas with a decreased VQ, this would be something from like pneumonia. Decreased VQ, you have an issue with ventilation. So this is issue ventilation. This one is issue with perfusion. Sorry, I should have made that clear early in the video. But with the decreased VQ, your issue is with ventilation, not perfusion. You're still getting blood there. But remember, ventilation with our fraction is the top number, so that's going to decrease, and that's going to result in a lower number. So think of pneumonia there, and that one's with the shunt. All right, let me know if I have any questions in the comments, and I appreciate y'all watching.